Hello, hello, everybody. Dr. Chad Woolner here, and I am super excited to have you here on today's training, the 5-hour Functional Medicine Workweek. Escape the burnout trap, a smarter path to greater time, income, and freedom using a proven, streamlined, done for you functional medicine system. Again, super excited to have you all with us. If you don't mind, just in the chat box, let me know where you're tuning in from. That gives me kind of an idea of who's all here with us. So just introduce yourself by letting me know where you are coming in from. Dr. Chrisman, good to have you on with us out in Washington. Fantastic. Colorado, Dr. Hinders, great to have you with us. Very, very good. And we have Northwest Arkansas. Very good. So we got a good representation of the states all across. And we got Dr. Landau from Oregon. Good to have you with us. Very, very good. And I see my good friend, honorary Dr. Chris Burfield, just jumped on. How are you, my friend?
Hey man, I'm doing awesome. Good to see you.
Good. Good to see you too, man. How's
We
life?
talk all the time on the phone, but
I know. I
I always
know.
see your beautiful face.
That's true, man. Well, I hope you're doing well, man, and excited to have you here with us.
Thanks, man. I'm excited
So,
for this.
yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. I love sharing this. And just to kind of set the stage, some of you may or may not already be familiar with simplified functional medicine. Regardless of your familiarity, today, when I talk about the 5-hour functional medicine work week, that might sound like perhaps a little bit of like hyperbole, but I'm going to share with you literally how this is truly the case. We're going to show you how this is not only possible, but we have practitioners who are doing this very thing. That's one of the coolest things about this system is it is a truly manageable system, and the emphasis, the most important word there is system. That's the thing that I think is so unique is in the functional medicine space we don't often hear a whole lot about true systems or systemization. And so that's really going to be unique to what we're going to be sharing today. And so that's exciting. Um Welcome to the training, everybody. So, super excited to have you all here. For those who stick around until the end, I have a special offer for everybody, a special gift. It is a program called the 100 New Patients in 100 Days Practice Growth System. This is something that I've used not only in my practice, but in countless practices all across the country. Normally, we sell this very program for just under $1,000, $997. And I'm going to show you how you can get that for free at the tail end of this. That is my kind of ethical bribe to have you stick around with us all the way through this training. This, and again, for the sake of like factual numbers, this system will get you 100 new patients in 100 days. But let's just say for a minute that you're like, that sounds a little bit too outlandish. Even if it brought you 50 new patients in the next 100 days, hopefully you would see like, man, there's some massive value there. And so this program is very near and dear to my heart because, like I said, this is something I've not only helped practitioners all across the country with, but this is literally something I've used in my practice to dramatically help in various times. Our practices go through different seasons, right? This program is what I always turn to if things get slow and if things get a little sketchy or scary sometimes in practice. And so, just so you guys know, like this is something I have used in my own practice countless times. Okay. And so, again, this is just my way of saying thank you. If you've been on any trainings with me before, you know one of the ways that I always introduce my trainings is the fact that I do not take lightly your guys' time. I'm a busy practitioner just like you guys. And so I'm honored when practitioners will take time out of their busy schedules to be here with me. So again, that's something I do not take for granted or do not take lightly. So at the very worst, at the end of this training, you're going to get access to this. I'll show you how to get access to that for free. And again, that's my way of just saying thanks for being here with us and taking time out of your busy schedule. So if I didn't already introduce myself, my name is Dr. Chad Woolner for those who are just joining us. And here at Simplified Functional Medicine, we specialize in helping practitioners build thriving practices by focusing on the three things that really truly do matter most. Time. Stop trading hours for dollars. It's time to buy back your time and break free of the daily grind. The next is money. It's time to start earning doctor level income. Okay. And last but certainly not least, freedom. Avoid the 40 to 60 hour work weeks and start living the life that you've worked so hard already to create. So hopefully that resonates with you, because in literally working with thousands of practitioners across the country, these three things are the consistent theme amongst practitioners that we hear over and over and over again. Not surprising, right? These are the three things that I'm after as well constantly. More time, more money, more freedom, right? And so hopefully that's why you're here, and hopefully that excites you. So as a quick introduction to who we are Simplified Functional Medicine. We've had the opportunity to help well over 300 providers all across the country and impact for good thousands upon thousands of patients' lives. And really at the heart of it, our job is to help you simplify your practice, amplify your income, and enjoy more freedom. And so we have an incredible team of practitioners and advisors to help you, our amazing practitioners. So if you're here on this training today, it's because you know that there's a gap between where you currently are and where you ultimately want to be. And you're probably wondering how to close that gap without burning yourself out, without getting stuck in the endless cycle of working harder, but never actually getting ahead, the proverbial kind of spinning of the wheels. And look, I get it. I myself have been there before, stuck in practice that felt more like a prison than it did an actual business. And I remember thinking, do I really want to do this for the rest of my life? Working all the long hours, managing patients, staff, payroll, constantly having to be quote unquote on all the time. All I wanted at the end of the day was to be able to help people get healthy, make a good living for me and my family, and stop feeling the Sunday night dread that so many of us often feel in practice, where you know that Monday is just looming and it's that pit in the bottom of the stomach. No one likes that feeling, right? And so I wanted to break free of that. And worst of all, the other thing that happens is, what happens when you're unable to get into your practice, right? When life throws the inevitable curveballs at us, whether it's injury or illness or just other challenges or constraints that happens, right? Some unforeseen issue. And so when we're unable to be there and our practice can't generate revenue, that's a major, major problem. And so I knew that I needed a way out. And that's really what ultimately we discovered in this process. Not only changed my life, but has also changed the lives of countless practitioners all across the country who were looking and searching for the same things, right? Time, money, and freedom. And so I turned a real challenge into a massive opportunity that we're going to be sharing with you. So now imagine this. What if your practice could generate more revenue and actually run without you? What if your life, what would your life look like if you didn't have to be in the office constantly, but instead could actually get to enjoy the things that you love to do? What if you could take a vacation, perhaps, without having to worry about the practice collapsing all around you? And what if you could finally pay off your student loans, build real wealth, or even give your spouse the freedom and flexibility to join you in this process, or maybe even perhaps quit their soul-sucking job should they choose to and should they want to, right? So what if you were actually excited about being able to go into work on Monday or any other day of the week for that matter, excited to get to help and serve patients, excited to grow your business, actually shift from survival mode into more of that kind of creative, thriving mode. And so again, I think this is ultimately what all of us are after, and this is why, hopefully, on some level, you are here. Well, The incredible and exciting news that we get to share is that this isn't just a dream, right? This is reality. This is reality for practitioners like Dr. Kate Duncan. She was struggling with this very thing. She was burnt out in practice. She was literally ready to throw in the towel. She told us, like, she was dealing with her own health challenges. She was dealing with the stresses of running a practice. She just was not doing well. She was not in a good place. She joined us. She implemented everything we were teaching, not just from a business standpoint, but incredibly from a clinical standpoint. She transformed her own health using our protocols. And now it's a completely different story. Now she's averaging annually an additional 250K of revenue flowing into her practice as a direct result of what she has applied from Simplified Functional Medicine. So it's really exciting to be able to see that. Or Dr. Dario, who was able to add an additional $40,000 of monthly revenue within 90 days of working with this. And what was really cool was we received an email from her just last month telling us this story. It was kind of a crazy story. She had some sort of a snafu with her in one of her primary insurance providers, a Blue Cross insurance provider, to where she wasn't getting any payments from them for several months. And she said that this program was the only thing that kept her practice from going under during that period of time. This allowed her to generate sufficient income to where she was still profitable in spite of that hang up. And so she was super grateful. And we were incredibly grateful to hear that story. That was very meaningful for us. And then Dr. Courtney Mosley, within her first month of joining us, she was able to enroll 12 patients, averaging around $3,500 a case, bringing in an additional $42,000. Currently, their practice averages around $100,000 or more in monthly collections. So I share this with you because this isn't theory. This is a proven system, and we're going to share exactly how practitioners just like you are going through this. And so we'll walk you through our step-by-step process, a done-for-you system that can have you up and running in just 30 days. And here's the best part. We actually guarantee your success, and I'll talk more about that later. If you follow our system, that's how confident that we are. Most practitioners are unfortunately stuck in that proverbial hamster's wheel, constantly chasing the next patient while struggling to keep up with the ones that they already have. And unfortunately, that is just not any sort of way to build a life or let alone a business. And so hopefully, again, you're excited to be here with us because we're going to show you exactly how to be able to do that. And so in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how to get off that hamster wheel and how to create a practice that allows you to, number one, make an amazing living. Number two, do what you love. And number three, help more patients. And so if that is you, if this message is resonating with you already, then I'm, again, excited and thrilled that you're here. And so we understand that practitioners who come on these trainings are here for a couple different reasons. And so maybe you're here today because you're new to functional medicine and you want more training and or looking for a certification or opportunity there. Maybe you're already experienced in functional medicine, but you are looking for systems to fill the gap, because oftentimes one of the most common themes that we hear is, yes, I learned functional medicine, I'm really good at it, but I'm still just not sure how to take what I've learned and apply and implement it into a real world situation. I know the clinical stuff, I know the academic stuff, I know the hormone pathways and cascades and all that fun stuff, but I just don't know how to actually take that, compartmentalize it, sell it, and then provide a result for patients in again, a real world setting. Or maybe you're just here because you're looking for a new opportunity, a way to grow your practice, add more revenue into your practice. So maybe it's a little bit of both, but if you'll just do me a favor in the chat box, just say either 1, 2, or 3, or if it's a 1 and a 3 or a 2 and a 3, just let me know where you're at. That way I can kind of gauge what brought you here today, why you're here with us. So 1 and 3, Dr. Chrisman, awesome. 1 and 3, very, very good. And if it's just one or the other, if it's 2, no problem too. So just again, number 2, fantastic. Dr. Hinders, great. 1 and 3. So a lot of 1s and 3s. Very good. Justin, 1 and 3. 2, very good. Very, very good. Well, that's awesome. And again, you're definitely in the right place. So by the end of this training, you'll see how simplified functional medicine eliminates the complexity of functional medicine, making it simple, scalable, and highly profitable. So the question is, where do we begin? We begin by addressing the 3 most common problems, recognizing these problems with most conventional approaches to functional medicine. And so what we found in general is that there are 3 primary problems that we see with the majority of all functional medicine training and or coaching programs that are out there today. And by all means, chime in and let me know if this resonates with you, if this is what you have experienced and seen. First, most take too long to learn, causing busy practitioners such as yourself to lose steam and momentum along the way. This is the old woman from Titanic here representing the 84 years that it has taken to get through the material, right? And so that's the problem, is that busy practitioners do not have that kind of time. Second, most don't really provide any real systems or protocols. They simply teach you all the deep, detailed academic information, expect you to go create all of the necessary systems to operate your program, again, leaving busy practitioners to have to take time and resources that they simply don't have to spin their wheels, hoping that they can actually finish this process. If they do wind up finishing it, hoping, crossing their fingers, that the systems will actually work. And finally, last but certainly not least, most don't provide any real substance beyond lab testing and or supplements, right? And so there's no lifestyle protocols beyond maybe perhaps a PDF guide showing them some, things they should and shouldn't eat, the list, don't eat these things, go eat these things. And really, this clearly doesn't help patients address things like mindset, habits, environmental factors, and all those other pieces of the puzzle that play such a huge role in patients and their outcomes, right? So does this resonate? If this does, if these are some of the same challenges and problems that you've run into when examining or contemplating functional medicine training or adding functional medicine, if this resonates with you, whether it's taking too long, too complex, no systemization, those sorts of things, just say yep in the chat box. And again, that's most practitioners. That's kind of what we have definitely come to find. So when we look at the conventional functional medicine practice build, the allure, I get it. I get the allure. It's this exciting thing of you get to create something really amazing, right? I'm going to build this program. It's going to be awesome, all these things. But when we actually start to dissect it and look at it objectively, it can be a little bit daunting, right? So I'm going to walk you through the process. And again, just let me know if this is something you've seen before as well, right? So you start with the certification process, right? So you start with months, if not years of training in order to obtain a sufficient level of know-how, right? So again, assuming that you have the time for that, you've gone through all of that, then at that point in time, you have to build your protocols. And so you have to take all of that training, synthesize it, and then develop systems and or protocols to be able to deliver that information to your patients. At that point in time, you actually have to build out the program itself, right? So how do you build out the personalized programs for patients that are going to be able to help them? And that's everything entailed in that process. That's all of the supplements, all of the lifestyle protocols, all the patient education materials, all of the habit formation and environmental factors, all of that factored into the overall program, all of your program pricing, all that's included in the program, all of the design work associated with it. Like it's a detailed process, right? And then you have your marketing systems. Okay, well, how are we actually going to get these people to know about your program? How are we going to get them through the door? How do we find and engage qualified leads at that point in time? And so they've come through the door. Hooray, you've got new people. Now you have your education and sales process. So how do you educate these people? How do you communicate with these people? And then how do you ultimately sell them on a higher ticket cash-based program? Because let's face it, insurance isn't covering these things, right? So is this daunting yet already for people? Again, if you're like most practitioners, the answer is an overwhelming yes, right? So then you have your coaching systems, right? So, okay, cool. You managed to get somebody across the finish line to sign up for you, your program. They paid you, $5,000 for your functional medicine program. Awesome. But now, how do you actually coach them? Do you have coaching systems in place, right? What's that going to look like? What do you do once they enroll? Then, how do you track it? How are you knowing if the patient is having a successful outcome? And again, you have to have objective metrics and outcome measures that you're going to be meaningfully tracking so that you can monitor that process. And again, if that's not built, you have to create that. And at that point in time, what happens then? If you don't have continuity built in there, this is a leaky bucket. You're going to have to constantly be refeeding it over and over and over again. And so, is it any wonder that less than 5% of practitioners who go through this route the conventional way actually make it to the end and reach this point in time where they've been able to do all of that? Right? Does this make sense? If this is making sense, just say yes in the chat box. If these are some of the same challenges, we see collectively over the years, we have seen so many people with such good intentions and high hopes and dreams lose steam along the way. And again, the primary issue being is that you as a practitioner do not have the time to do these things, right? When you're expected to show up to take care of patients, to manage everything else you have on your plate, it's no wonder that practitioners are frustrated with this conventional approach, right? So these are the biggest problems that no one is talking about and why less than 5% of practitioners succeed the conventional way. Busy practitioners don't have the required time, required to learn all the in-depth stuff. Busy practitioners don't have time to build stuff. They aren't sales and marketing experts. They aren't program and or curriculum developers and or designers, right? Most practitioners' teams are already handling too much as it is, right? How many of you right now, by a raise of hands, just say yes in the chat box, have teams that would be thrilled to have this dumped on them, these projects dumped on them, right? I say that facetiously, right? How many of you know your team would not do well if you were to hand off to them one more thing on their plate, right? They're already tapped out as it is, correct? Again, just say yes in the chat box. Again, if you're like the vast majority of practitioners, the vast majority are like, yep. And or you have practitioners who are like, what team? I don't have a team. I'm a one-man show or a one-woman show, So this conventional approach has a zero standard of care. And that's one of the big challenges that we have seen over the years as well, is that functional medicine is still, unfortunately, kind of the wild, wild west, which can be a good thing. But from a standardization and systemization standpoint, not quite so. And then there's no business or marketing support with most of these approaches. Practitioners are really left to wing it or figure it out as you go. So clearly, there is a much better, simpler way. With simplified functional medicine, we have streamlined this process and we have literally solved all of these problems. And the coolest part that we get to share is that on average, our SFM practitioners are able to launch in an average of 27.2 days. So instead of months or years just to learn the material, our practitioners are up and running, utilizing the systems and the protocols we hand over to them in less than a month, or right about a month, we'll say that, right? So does that sound a little bit better already? 27.2 days. Hopefully that's exciting as well, because that's the coolest thing that we get to see as practitioners launching in record time, right? So let's talk about how the system flows. And again, we could spend hours going through all the nuances and details, but I want to give you enough of a picture of this so you can see how we've done a lot of this, how the SFM system does all the heavy lifting for you and your team. So this is from a mile up how the system flows. Patient will come in, they fill out their initial paperwork, and they have their initial consult. We want to find out not only what's going on, but what their goals are. This is key. Then at that point in time, instead of you spending an hour drawing out all the hormone pathways and functional medicine diagrams, they're going to watch a brief, what we call day one video. This will educate them on how we use specific specialized testing to get to the root of their health issues and why they've been struggling for what they've been struggling with for so long. And so at that point in time, the patient then pays for their initial testing. They can take it home or it can be drop shipped. So if you're wanting to do this virtually, you can do that too. And then what happens is on their next appointment, when they come back, once we have their lab test results in place, instead of you or your team spending hours going through those lab test results and having to synthesize tons of data and information, instead, they watch our day 2 automated report of findings video. What this video does is it explains the testing itself, why we did the testing, what the testing actually means, and what typical results might look like in general, so that when you and your team come in, again, this alleviates the burden of you having to spend an hour going through this with them. You can simply point at the results. The patient will already be pre-educated, knowing exactly what's going on. They'll have a really firm grasp of what's happening so that they can see and connect the dots. This is huge, and this is really the key. They will be able to clearly connect the dots between what we found on testing and why they're struggling with the things they're struggling with. This makes it so incredibly easy at that point in time. The practitioner or the team member will go over the test results with the patient and then present them with a complete program that will be allowing the patient to do both in-office and at-home care, and or the other, right? Depending upon your practice situation. If you're brick and mortar, awesome. If you're wanting to do this more virtually, you can do this all virtually and or at home. The patient then enrolls in the program, and everything is then provided for them in a streamlined, simplified way. We provide kits for those patients in that process. So, does that sound good so far? Does that seem pretty straightforward? Again, having done this with practitioners, it is such a smooth and streamlined and seamless process. So at this point, okay, this sounds cool, but what happens once the patient has enrolled? How do we avoid the hour-long follow-up appointments? How do we make sure patients are on track? How do we avoid the trading time for money trap? You know, again, I'm going to say what I said earlier. It's one thing to enroll a patient into a program. It's another thing to now manage that person such that they don't become this massive energy vampire and time suck for you, because all of a sudden it no longer becomes worth that. It's not worth that time and effort, right? So these are all great questions. This is where the power of our proprietary patient and provider software comes into play. Our simplified functional medicine software auto onboards the patient, educates them in a step-by-step process into the program, provides them with their own specific protocols, provides them easy to follow nutritional guidance, tracks their compliance in a meaningful way. So we're now looking at objective, not subjective stuff, and then provides them with clear and easy to read reports for you and the patient so they can look and monitor, making for far more meaningful conversations and a ton more. So now all of a sudden what this does is this eliminates the need for hour-long follow-up appointments and ensures that the patients are getting the best possible outcomes that we can track and we can measure. So hopefully you're already starting to kind of connect the dots, but here's the punchline, right? This can all be realistically managed in 5 hours per week, even with a handful of patients that you're working with at any given time in this program. Does that seem exciting to you guys? Does that seem like something that would be of value to you in this process? Right? You and your team no longer have to sit there and babysit and handhold. You've got tools and resources and systems in play that do all of this heavy lifting for you, making this far, far more manageable. Okay, now, if this is all sounding perhaps a bit too good to be true, I can assure you it isn't. Like I said before, we've had the opportunity over the past 5 years working with literally hundreds of providers, allowing them to be able to generate more time, money, and freedom. Practitioners like Dr. Rick Hellman, who was able to generate over $40,000 his first few weeks of joining SFM with zero marketing. That was cool. That was a really cool thing to see. Or Dr. Ashley Rath, who was able to generate over $56,000 in her first few months joining. And by the way, she lives in a town of only 1,081 people, right? So, and now she's scaling via online marketing as well. So now she's gone from her local area to now a virtual practice, to be able to scale this at a much, much bigger level, which is really exciting for us to see as well. And so At this point, we realize that there are perhaps some who may still have some questions. That's great. And perhaps maybe even a bit skeptical. That's totally fine as well. The most common concerns and or objections that we hear are things like, and let me know if these are some of the things you're thinking right now. I don't even know anything about functional medicine, right? Where do I even begin? I don't want to spend the next 12 months learning it. I don't want to disrupt my current practice and create more complexity, right? There's too much already, maybe later, right? I don't want to have to deal with all the inventory hassles and logistics that come with this process. I don't want to have to spend time in hour-long appointments. My team doesn't want to have to deal with yet one more thing, right? Rest assured, right? This is precisely why we created Simplified Functional Medicine in the first place. You know, they say in business that you're supposed to scratch your own itch. This is exactly, these were my concerns, just so you guys know. Like, this is why we developed it, was for ourselves in our own practices, right? So hopefully you recognize and know that. Like, I'm a full-time practitioner just like you guys. These are the same concerns and constraints that I've been dealing with over the years. And again, this was my answer to a large degree of that. So does that make sense, everybody, so far? And or are these a lot of the same questions and or concerns that you guys have had along the way? Same kind of reasons why functional medicine has appeared maybe perhaps a bit too challenging or a bit too daunting, right? So my wife was one of the people that we help. We do what we do because, again, we've scratched our own itch, but also from a standpoint, right? I know from firsthand experience, personal experience, what it's like to see someone that you love struggle to find answers and to find hope and to simply not be able to get the help that they're looking for. My wife years ago was diagnosed with thyroid cancer, and she has dealt with a lot of the consequences and fallout as a result of that. And so it's been tough. It's been tough in her journey. We've gone through the process of looking for answers and helping ultimately develop a lot of the protocols to help her and patients just like her. And so I share this with you because, as much as I'd love to talk about just time, money, and freedom and all that cool stuff, I share this with you because we need practitioners to know that if you're serious about not only creating more time, money, and freedom in your life, but you're also serious about helping serve more people and make a greater impact, then just know that we are equally serious about our mission and role in helping you to do just that. And the reason, again, being is because we know that there are people out there just like my sweet wife, people who are looking for answers, people who need help desperately. And the good part of this is that this means that there is a massive opportunity. You know, when practitioners at this point are like, okay, but how do we actually market this? How do you not? These people are already in your community. They're already walking through your doors. Just out of curiosity, right now, we're going to do a quick experiment here. What percentage would you say, and be realistic here, what percentage of your current patients right now would you say are also dealing with thyroid problems, hormone imbalances, weight loss resistance issues, digestive problems, depression, anxiety, hormone imbalances, right? Krista says all, right? You know, and chime in, everybody. Let me know. Is it 10%, 20%, 50%, more than that? Most practitioners recognize on the conservative end, and we're talking the very conservative end, at least 50%, right? Dr. Scott says 90+%. Yeah, I would say it's closer to like the 70% range. Most of our patients, in fact, we just saw a new patient this morning. She was dealing with not only sciatica, which is what primarily brought her in, but she was also complaining she's had thyroid problems and some brain health issues as well. And so it's not uncommon for you to see these issues. And so again, when it comes to these issues, you've got three choices. You can either ignore it when they write it down on their paper, you can refer them out, or you can choose to help these people. And we would argue that it makes sense to be able to help serve these people and provide them with a solution. So having seen this process in action in clinics all across the country, we can now clearly identify who will be a good fit for SFM and who isn't a good fit. And we can show you success story after success story, but we can also show you practitioners who have been in SFM who didn't experience success. And so the question is, why is that? Is it because the program only works for some practitioners and not others? No, it's not that. To be honest and to be just quite frankly, if I can just be a little bit blunt, it's because the practitioners who are successful are the ones who can step up, who can take action, trust, and follow the process. It's really that simple. We know what we're doing. And quite frankly, we're really, really good at what we do. Like I said earlier, we actually guarantee that what'll happen when you join our program, we have a guarantee, and I'll talk more about it. But it's basically that we guarantee you will at least 3x your investment with us if you follow this, making this a total no-brainer for practitioners who are serious about helping more people and making a greater impact. So here's who is an ideal fit for simplified functional medicine. If you currently have a practice that is seeing a steady volume of patients, if you are teachable, coachable, willing and able to follow a simple, proven process, if you are serious about creating more time, more money, and freedom in your life, and if you can simply take action and quickly implement, you will be a great fit for SFM. And again, having done this for a while, here's who isn't a good fit for SFM. If you aren't teachable or coachable, if you aren't willing to follow and trust a proven system or process, or think that, you know what, I'm going to do it my way instead, that's not going to do well. You're not going to do well. If you hesitate, if you're indecisive, if you have to constantly overthink things and think about things for long periods of time, now's not the right time, and hide behind excuses like needing to check with others or seek approval before making important but smart decisions that do make sense due to fear or, again, hesitation, you're probably not going to be a good fit for SFM. Again, hopefully you recognize there's a constant theme that I've been talking about, and that's time, right? If it takes too long to learn and implement, you're going to lose steam and momentum. It's the same thing with decision making. We see this all the time with our patients, right? What happens when a patient comes to you? You know that the care plan is going to help them, and they say, I need to think about it. Now's not the right time. What percentage of time do those people come back and actually enroll in care? Not often, right? And the reality of it is those who hesitate, especially when it's the right decision, are going to miss out. And so those are the people that aren't going to be a good fit for SFM, because if it's not the right time now, then it's never going to be the right time. People, what they're looking for is a fairy tale. They're looking for life to get perfect and beautiful and this clear, blank, empty canvas with all the time and energy and resources in the world. That's not life. That's not the way this works, right? So let's talk about what's included in SFM so that you can see how we have this process laid out to be able to help you and how we're able to get such predictable results. So what'll happen is you'll get instant access to the Simplified Functional Medicine Training Program, plus the opportunity for certification with us. We have already included, done for you, client and patient protocols and systems in play, ready for you to plug straight into your practice. So again, no having to create the program, no having to create the curriculum, no having to create all of the systems. We've got that all buttoned up for you, ready to go, literally just plugged right into your practice, including all of our turnkey program kits, so that, again, you don't have to hassle with inventory management. You don't have to hassle with sourcing the right things and the right ratios and all that. We've got it all taken care of for you, again, plugged right into your practice. You have access to some of the world's best success coaches ready for you at a moment's notice. And we are incredibly available. I do mean that 100%. We care about your success. If you're not successful, we do not view that as success. Our success is your success. So you have not only myself, you have Dr. Scott Wadier, who has built his own incredible 7-figure practice, as well as a virtual practice that he runs now. Incredible human being. Dr. Andrew Wells, who has grown multiple 7-figure clinics all across the country, managed several dozen integrated clinics all across the United States, and Dr. Jason Green, who was responsible for taking one of his own practices to over $40 million a year in revenue. Very few practitioners have had that kind of experience, and you have direct access to him as well. He is our amazing CFO. And so, again, you have a team of coaches who are in your corner, who you can have direct access to at a moment's notice. We will help you every step of the way. You'll get access to our patient software that we talked about. So again, freeing you and your team up from having to coach, hour by hour. This is going to free up so much time and bandwidth for you guys. You plug the patients into it and let the software do all of the heavy lifting for you guys. You'll get access to our practitioner community through weekly calls, what we call our weekly CSD and PCT calls. CSD stands for case study and design. This is weekly, kind of like grand rounds. We go through real world cases. We look at labs. We look at follow-ups. We look at results. We look at troubleshooting. We go through all that, working through that. So you not only get to hear from us, but also you get access to all the other practitioners and that collective wisdom and brain power. In fact, as soon as this is done, I'm jumping straight from this into one of our weekly CSD calls. PCT calls is our patient communication training calls. And so if you're wondering about me, either yourself or your team, how do we know how to communicate and talk to people and get them enrolled and essentially convince them or sell what we're providing them, convincing the patient to pay us? That's what these PCT calls are for. You're going to learn directly from some of the best in the world. Every week, you'll have that opportunity for you and your team to be coached, to be able to effectively communicate. These calls work. The training works. Our practitioners who show up on these trainings get incredible results. They are excellent at enrolling patients into care each and every week. And so you'll get access to that as well. You'll get access to our digital marketing library and our marketing platform. So again, all of that is taken care of for you. You simply plug those things in and you're up and rolling in terms of your marketing. We will give you access to what we call our revenue accelerator plan. And so basically what this is this is an opportunity for you to work directly with us. We create a plan by first starting to narrow in and get really crystal clear on what your goals are. Success is ultimately up to you. You define what success looks like. That is a highly personal and highly individual thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the end in mind. We're going to help you by allowing us to see what success looks like for you. We're going to get you to get really crystal clear and gain massive clarity on what a successful outcome looks like for you, what your goals are in terms of time, money, and freedom. And then what we do is we will help you by reverse engineering a plan of action to help you reach those goals. And so now it's not just wishful thinking. It's not just throwing coins in the wishing well. This is a plan, step by step, custom designed for you. This is what we call our revenue accelerator plan, mapped out in vivid details so that you can achieve those goals. Okay, this sounds great. How much does the program cost? Okay, and that's a great question, but I want to just kind of jump the gun, time out real quick. Great question. First things first, okay? We don't work with everybody. I would love to, right? But again, like we said, SFM isn't for everybody. We want to first identify who is going to be a good fit working with us, okay? That's one of the reasons why we get such good results is we've been able to, over the years, really start to hone in and narrow in. We give our energy to those that are most likely to succeed. And so we have a proven cohort onboarding process. And so we opened our latest cohort of 10 just yesterday, March 3rd. 3 of the spots have been taken. That leaves us with 7 spots that are open. So we have 7 spots left. And so what'll happen is in just a moment, I'll show you how to set up an initial discovery call and kind of begin that process of determining if you're going to be a good fit for SFM, if SFM is going to be a good fit for you, if it looks like we're going to be able to work together in that process. But I want to show you what most of our practitioners are doing so you get a clear idea of the opportunity that's here. This is your average return on investment with SFM. Most of our practitioners are pricing their programs somewhere around the $4,000 range. And so we allow our practitioners to price according to their area and according to their unique circumstances. But on average, most typically hover at around $4,000. Most of our SFM practitioners average anywhere between 4 to 8 enrollments per month, meaning they're adding on average an additional, in general, 2 to 400K of additional annual revenue into their practice. Or if you want to look at it monthly, an additional $16,000 to $32,000 of additional monthly revenue into their practice. And so again, this needs to make financial sense in a way that's just a total no-brainer. And the other thing that we do is we promise, like I said, our 100% guarantee, if you follow the process and program as outlined in the SFM platform and don't at least 3x your investment, will work for you for free until you do. The reason we have this guarantee is we want this again to be a total no-brainer for you. We want you to realize again, we are completely invested in your success, and the process does work. Again, we guarantee it. So does that make sense, everybody? Making sense so far? If it makes sense, just say yes in the chat box. Hopefully this is exciting to you already. So let me just show you our success roadmap. We get predictable results through a proven 5-step process. And again, on average, it takes 27.2 days. So first, again, we start with those goals and objectives. We want to know what success looks like for you, what we're aiming at. Once we do that, then we can begin the process of the clinical training. Again, clinical training is designed to be done rapidly. So this isn't going to take months or months. Most practitioners are able to get through this material pretty quickly. At that point in time, we go through systems training. We make sure that you and your team recognize and understand all the systems involved that will be plugged straight into your practice. At that point in time, we'll help you with program pricing, all of your marketing systems, so that you're ready for the most exciting part, and that is launch and scale. And so again, your resources you have in this is obviously you get access to the membership area and the training platform. You'll get access to certification. You'll have your own dedicated success coach working hand in hand with you. You'll get access to live trainings. You'll get sales and communication coaching and training. You'll get access to our weekly live CSD calls. You'll get access to our patient support and coaching software. And you'll also get support from the business coaching standpoint. We'll help you every step along the way as well. So if you think that you would be a good fit, and we would be a good fit for you, then the next step would be to schedule a free discovery call. Let me explain this process. This is not a heavy-handed, high-pressure sales pitch. This is simply an opportunity for us to get to know you, get to know what you're looking for, what interested you in this in the first place, and again, to see if this looks like it's going to be a good fit. And we find out a lot about you. We want to know everything. We want to know what your goals are. We want to know where you're currently at, what your current constraints and challenges are. And then we take that information and we ultimately determine as a team if this looks like this is going to be a good fit. If it's going to be a good fit, then we'll answer all the questions. We'll walk you through the process. And again, if it makes sense, we'll get you enrolled into Simplified Functional Medicine as part of that cohort. And we'll take you through the process and we'll get you up and running in record time so that you can start helping more people, adding a lot more revenue, creating more time and freedom in your practice. Does that sound good, everybody? So you can scan that QR code or you can go to simplifiedfunctionalmedicine.com. And then there's a button there that just says schedule a free discovery call. And so I'll put the link here in the chat box, simplifiedfunctionalmedicine.com, and then just click the discovery call button. You can schedule that. That'll be with Dr. Andrew Wells. Burf, are you still there with us? If you are, I'm not sure if you wanted to chime in and add any wisdom or any of your final comments or thoughts.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Let's see if I can get, there we go. Yeah, I'm still here. Yeah, I was just, the only thing I was going to say is that I had the opportunity to work very closely with you guys over the last 7 months.
Yeah.
And I got to meet dozens and dozens and dozens of your current SFM clients. And the success stories that I heard coming from them just blew my mind, especially working with Dr. Scott. So Dr. Scott Wadier, he's
amazing.
Yeah, he is amazing. And what they were like, so he's in charge of like basically like a soft launch, along with client success stuff, you know, as far as like meeting with people, making sure that they're on track and, you know, adjusting as need be and whatnot. But they only had just amazing things to say about Dr. Wadier. And what was so awesome about it is that these were people that did not need to spend any money on outside marketing. He helped them take this program and introduce it to their current patient base, whether that was people that are actually coming into the office or through an email campaign that brought people that were in previously, that were previous patients in the practice, brought them back in. And, you know, people like Dr. Ashley Rath, who made tens of thousands of dollars her first month implementing this.
Yeah.
Like it's stories
You
like that.
did you hear about Dr. Lonnie? He just
Oh
launched
yes,
last
Dr. Lex.
week.
I know Lonnie. Like he and I did dinner with the doc stuff for Lonnie years ago, and I met him in person at your SFM live event back
Yeah.
in January. And I didn't hear what he did. Like
He
I
had
think he get used
eight
to it.
enroll his first night, 8 patients.
8 patients his first night. Wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
So these are not unique stories. Like I can tell you guys that after working with the SFM group for 7, 8 months. This was a very common thing that I heard amongst their patients. So, or their client base. So it's like, and with the guarantee that's being offered, it's a no brainer.
It's not uncommon for all of the practitioners who are here, truly. It's not uncommon for you to be able to get your entire investment back upon launch. That's the goal for us. We that's what we want, is we want it to be just gravy thereafter. And so
Mhm.
we will work with you to ensure your success. Again, we really do mean it. But the one thing I do want to be crystal clear about, and this isn't like the clever takeaway, I'm just being sincerely honest. If it doesn't look like it's going to be a good fit, we will tell you, we'll let you know. And we do it in the most respectful way possible. We're not douchey about it. We just let you know, this may not be the right fit. And if it isn't, no problem. And what we'll do is we'll point you in the right direction is in terms of resources or a better approach that might be a better fit for you. But if it is looking like it's going to be a good fit for you and your practice, we will let you know. So, and that way you can know really, okay, if it's going to be a good fit, um,
Yeah.
it's a no brainer. It really, really is. So
I will just add this one last thing in. So I had a lot of like one-on-one time with your clients. And one of the things that they said to me was they had either looked at other programs or had done other programs. And it was like they gave them all this knowledge, like, here's what you need to do, or, as far as like, this is what functional
right,
medicine is and the protocols and all
right.
that stuff. But then it was like, okay, go figure it out yourself.
Yep,
And as far as like how to actually systematize it,
yep.
run it. And that was one of the things that because when I would ask your clients, I would ask them, so what brought you to SFM? What was it about SFM that attracted you to it? And they all said the fact that there was a system in place. And
Yeah,
once I got in and started implementing the system and saw that it worked, I knew it was going to be a client for life. So
yep.
like that is I don't really know a whole lot about other functional medicine programs out there. I know some of the names and stuff of people out there, but I don't know exactly what they're doing. But it seems like some of these people were involved with other programs and they just didn't have a system.
Yep.
And they ended up like getting frustrated, burned out, and they're like, some of them said they had quit and then came to SFM like later, and it was a game changer for them.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is there are plenty of programs out there that'll teach you how to build these things, but you still have to build them. And that's the rub. And that's the challenge that no one, that's one of the other big elephants in the room that no one wants to talk about is you can find a lot of different functional medicine business programs out there that'll show you how to build your own perfect program. But again, don't forget, you still have to build it. They're going to show you. And the level of coaching and everything varies from program to program, obviously, but you still have to build it. With SFM, it's been built. It's already there, and it's a
Right.
proven process. It's a proven system. It's a proven program. So scan the QR code, schedule that discovery call. For anyone who does schedule their discovery call, what we'll do for you, again, as a way of just saying thanks for taking that step, we're going to give you access for free. That program that I talked about at the beginning, the 100 patients in 100 days, that is a proven system as well for driving in a massive amount of new traffic into your practice, and for low amounts. So it's not like this massive influx of money that you have to upfront. This is all stuff that can be done low, no cost that will start to drive a lot more new patients through your door. And so again, normally if I sell that, I sell it for $9.97. That's my free gift to you for anybody who schedules that discovery call. So all you got to do is scan the QR code or go to simplifiedfunctionalmedicine.com, click the discovery call button, get that scheduled. That'll be with Dr. Andrew Wells. He is absolutely amazing. And again, what we'll do is we'll find out first and foremost what your goals are. We'll find out what your constraints are, see if we can kind of help you in that process, reach those goals. And then at that point in time, we'll answer any of those remaining questions that you have, and we'll help you get enrolled and join us and join our other practitioners. We're excited to be able to meet you. So I've got just a few more minutes. I've literally got like 2 more minutes, but if there aren't any burning questions, click the link, use that QR code. Has this been valuable today for everybody here? Has this been exciting? Hopefully this has been really, really valuable. Yeah, we appreciate you all being here. Thanks for your time, and excited to be able to, again, meet you guys, and looking forward to helping you guys. And Chris, as always, Burf, I love you, man. Appreciate you. Appreciate all you do. And we'll be in touch, my friend.
Yep. Awesome. All right. Bye, guys. Have a great week.
Thanks, everybody.